Yes, welcome to Euro 2020. I got your boy Simon, Andrew. He's going to be joining us, not tonight, but in the future. You got me, Alstallio, and we're doing this special show talking about, obviously, the Euro 2020. Do we even care about the Euro 2020, man? Let's be honest.
Why?
There's something to talk about.
I think everyone needs a distraction. It's been like a rough old year. I think, for some people, they're really looking forward to it. But other people, we kind of just, I don't know, we probably had a bit of fatigue with everything going on, man, with football. But fans are back, man. That's a good thing, isn't it? Fans are back.
Actually, that's a good question. How many people are allowed actually in the stadiums? Is it 10,000?
I think it's 10,000. I think, yeah, it's a cap.
And it varies from country to country, innit, at the moment. So that's one of those things.
Actually, I don't know. I presume it would do, depending on COVID advice. I guess there's some countries probably still in some kind of lockdown, man. I'll be honest, like with the whole fatigue thing, it's kind of happened with me in this whole COVID thing as well. I used to know what was happening everywhere. Now I don't even really know what's happening here, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I don't think anyone knows what's happening, man. Just sending all kinds of messages, and it's like, okay, today we'll do this, and tomorrow we'll probably do that, but for now we'll do this. You're like, hold on a second. What we do today?
The advice should be that we should do that maybe, because now we're following government advice, like this is the latest one, like Boris doesn't want to go back into another lockdown, but some people are really pushing for it. Well, not even lockdown, but they don't want more easing of restrictions.
That's it.
That's politics, not football.
Anyway, move off. Anyway, we want to talk about the football. So let's see. I believe England's games are being hosted. Well, we're typically England fans. I hope you picked the second team.
Well, no, I'll be honest, I haven't really picked a first team. I'm going to do it ad hoc
England.
this year. There's been a rule change, about, like for players who want to change their nationalities now. So there's been a new rule change this year. So players now can actually, if they've had, I think, less than 3 caps and haven't played in major tournaments for the World Cup or the Euros or something, they can now switch allegiance regardless of age. Yeah, so they're saying that, especially like the Jamaican national team now, it's going to be really bolstered, and you're going to have like Mikel Antonio said he's going to play for Jamaica. They're trying to get people like Nathan Redmond and people like this now into the Jamaican squad, which is a good thing. So it's going to be an interesting one, man.
I think that's actually something that's definitely good for like African players who probably are on the fringes of like countries like Africa, France, not so much Spain, Portugal, England, so they can say, I'm never going to get in the England team, so I'm going to go over to my native African team. And you're going to see how many African teams get really strong, man. Imagine the Jamaican team. If all the Jamaican players,
this is what people are talking about. Like I watched a little something online today, and it was something you literally hit the nail on the head, because we're talking the countries that are going to benefit are countries like Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Ghana. Turkey. Because if you look at the people, because if you look at the people who are emigrating to places like France and Holland and Belgium and all this, there's a lot of these nationalities, especially Northern African countries, going into those sort of places. So these teams hopefully are going to be really strengthened.
Yeah, man. So anyway, get on to the team.
Go on. That? I said it'll make for more interesting tournaments, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, man. So anyway, getting on to actually England won today, just to let you know. Marcus Rashford. Our boy Marcus Rashford. You know what? I love this guy. He doesn't play for any team I like. No offense. Yeah, no offense. But the guy is as a person, he's proper sound, so he scored today. They beat who did they play again? Damn.
Come on, bro. You need to be more in the loop if you're going to do a Euro 22.
Was it man? I'm thinking about, I don't know why, but I got Croatia on my mind because I just was looking up that England's first games against Croatia. So I was like, do we play Croatia? No, man.
No, anyway, Romania did 1-0.
Romania 1-0. And what's his name? Mr. Penalty. Henderson, Mr. Penalty.
Jordan Henderson, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, so the big talking point was obviously 4 right backs in the England team, which I believe one of them is now out, Arnold. So that's only 3 right backs.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. We're going to miss his set pieces, man.
Yeah, man.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. We've got some good set piece takers in it, but if you watch Alexander Arnold's like set pieces, it's the pace that he puts on you know, and the different types of delivery. So like back in like Euro '96 or you know, or the 2000s, like when we had Beckham or whatever, or probably you know when we had Beckham, he could do a lot of different kind of delivery. Scholes was the same. He just had that dead ball specialist kind of thing. And even though like we had Gerrard for like scoring and Lampard were good, really good at scoring, these people had like this real variety, and Trent has got that, man, and we're gonna miss that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's Kyle Walker though. He ain't bad.
He's good, but I just mean I don't think he's got like the sort of like he's not like De Bruyne. Like Trent Alexander, he's like a De Bruyne, you know, inside of the foot, outside of the foot, dipping over the. He's just got that like I say, that different thing. I think these guys can take good set pieces, but I just don't think they're set piece specialists like Trent Alexander. Why is he taking, you know, just coming to the England side in the last year or so? Why is he taking all the set pieces for England? It's because he's got that unique delivery.
Yeah, special talent. Okay, let's go through the squad. Quick rundown. I don't know if do you know every player?
Majority of them.
We'll go through the squad, man. We'll start with the goalies. So we got.
Let's go through them, man.
Okay, so we got the goalies. We got Dean Henderson from Manchester United, Sam Johnstone from West Brom, Jordan Pickford from Everton. Sam Johnstone is or Johnston.
Sam Johnston.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah,
he's an interesting guy because
he's a good
keeper, obviously. I mean, he's a good keeper, but his team went down, so he's got a lot of practice.
He's a good keeper. Like, you know what it is like. It's the games that he did sort of. You know, I remember a season when Watford got relegated and Ben Foster was in goal for him, and he was like out goal for Stoke, and I think they stayed up Stoke. But I mean, just like they done really well because of the keeper, and I think he's got that. Sam Johnson, he's a really he was unlucky not to make it through. I think he was a United player, wasn't he? So he was just unlucky not to make it through the ranks where there were so many good goalkeepers, especially when you got Dean Henderson coming through the same team and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So yeah, like he's a solid goalkeeper. I'm more worried about Pickford. I think Pickford, even though he's been like the England number one,
I was going to say
he's had a shaky old time this season. It's started shaky and it kind of got a little bit better, but I don't think. I mean, he's played all right in an England shirt, I'll be honest, but yeah, he looks a bit fallible, man.
Yeah,
I'm a bit worried about that one. I think the other two just solid choices. Dean Henderson to start, I think.
Yeah, I think Dean Henderson uprooted De Gea this year, isn't it? So I'll go with it. I'll go with him as well, even though you know he's a Manchester United player. And nah, they finished second. Finished second. He's took number one shirt from De Gea, so yeah, I'll definitely put him in. Defenders. So you got John Stones, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, John Stones. Okay, Trent's out. Who's coming? Does anyone come to replace Trent Alexander?
I think they're talking about we're going to probably bring in somebody like a more versatile player, like a defender, midfielder, you know, like a cover more than one position. But I don't know if they've replaced him. We should know these things by now.
Yeah, I don't think they've put out yet. But yeah, I know. I'm thinking they're going to bring in the Millie Rock dude. To be fair, because I think he was close, although he didn't really make a good. You know, he didn't play well in the friendlies. Okay, Kyle Walker, Tyrone Mings, Reece James, Connor Cody,
Cody,
Chilwell. Yeah. Bill Chilwell and Kieran Trippier. I didn't know Kieran Trippier played for Atletico Madrid this year, man. Yo, I thought he was still at Tottenham.
Dude, you need to watch more matches, man.
I just watch Arsenal games. That's it. Okay, so
you being interested in him?
Yeah. I think also Arsenal are interested. I heard that they're interested in him too, but Arsenal interested in everybody, you know, because we're rubbish. So
fair cut.
Okay, so our defense looks solid. Standout defenders for you? What do you think?
Let's go for it again. John Stones had a really good revival. Man, I think he's been absolutely solid since he's come back. I think he's like a Rolls Royce in defense, man. It's good to have him back. If he doesn't sort of drop the ball, which I think happened at the end of the last tournament, actually, where he started to actually have a dip in form, and after having a really good tournament. I think Stones is a good one. Next one, who we got?
Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw's solid, best left back in the country this year.
Yeah, but Harry Maguire, I think he was kind of. Do you think that's a bit tokenistic?
Do you know what it is? He's like he's you know, for like your set pieces and everything, like he's going to be the best. You know, if you're coming up against like a Fellaini or something like that, or these towering sort of people, or like an Arnaud, which I don't know if people are like, I don't even know if they're in this tournament, Austria, but I mean, you know, these kind of big players who are just used to winning, like our Calvert-Lewin, who's used to just winning 9/10 of every, you know, 9 out of 10 headers. Then Maguire's like a machine, man. He's a big old unit in there, man. He's a shrank. So this guy is a unit, but he also moves. He moves like a heavy bit of artillery, man. He's not. He can't run around. So it's if you've got someone like Stones next to him, I think hopefully Stones can pick up from, you know, if Harry's to make a mistake, man. But against the biggie teams, I just don't know how solid he is. And I'm a United fan, you know what I mean? I wanted Harry to have the best season ever at Old Trafford. I just, you know, we paid the money that Liverpool paid for Virgil van Dijk, but he moves like a slug, man. So I just don't know. I don't know if you can replace one with the other. I just don't see how you can do that. It's crazy.
But therefore, you got Kyle Walker. He's fast as hell. And he's pretty
Kyle
decent.
Walker's a right back here, great player.
Yeah, so you got him. You got Tyrone Mings from Villa.
Yeah, I like him. I like Mings. I think he's been solid. I think like he had a really bad injury a few years ago, and that's how he ended up at Villa in the first place. In fact, he ended up at Bournemouth, didn't he? And then you know, we did his bit at Villa. In fact, he left Bournemouth, I think, actually, when he had his injury, and then he just had he came back strong for Villa. Then I think he's been good.
Yep. Then you got Reece. Yep. Then you got Reece James. He's a young guy, isn't he?
Young Chelsea. Again, I think is he not one of the right backs or left backs? And that I think he's done really well, breakthrough season.
Yeah, I think I mean, actually, quite a few of those.
He's fast. He's rapid as well. You know, next generation of Walker and all them sort of guys.
Yeah, he's a right back. Yeah, he's only like 21. I mean, England team's young. And then again, Chelsea, commendable to won the Champions League. So what can we say? Connor Cody from Wolves. He's also a young new guy.
To me, like he's like much in like the style of like Harry Maguire, but he's got a bit more pace on him. Like Cody's a good defender, man. He's Wolves captain, and that is the guy who always like he's that last minute, you know, last ditch clearance sort of guy, and then like getting the headers out and, you know, good delivery up the park, and that he's a decent player.
He was at Liverpool as well. Ben Chilwell.
Wolves. Yeah, like again, he's not Wolves. Ben Chilwell is Leicester, isn't he? Not Leicester, sorry, Chelsea now, isn't he?
Chelsea, yeah.
Sorry, he went from Leicester to Chelsea. He's brilliant, isn't he? He's had a good season as well. He's really good player.
And Trippier, we know he's good. So, you know, if you had left over Madrid, you're a good player. Simple as that. Yeah. At least you know how to defend. And you know how to defend. And you know how to, yeah. Okay, midfield. We're a bit light in midfield, man. Look at this. We've got Mason Mount, Declan Rice, brilliant. Jordan Henderson, Jude Bellingham, and Calvin Phillips. That's like I would have went a bit more strong in midfield. I would have put probably 8 people. I would have took 8 midfielders and less defenders somehow.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an argument that we're a bit light in the middle and that. I think like the players that are coming as well. It reminds me of, I'm trying to think what tournament it was where we did go a bit young, but you know, like there's moments in a game where we just needed that experience, because when we put on our experience subs, they were starting to turn games, but we just didn't have enough, man. And I think it's going to be the same this year, where like if you got Sancho and Bellingham and them kind of people firing, it's great. But you know, if they're going to come off the bench on the 83rd minute and we're going to expect them to turn the games around because we don't want to take our experience hand off early enough to give them a chance to impact the game. And then you've always got to think that, all right, as explosive as it might be, you know, you've been in the game 10 years and that, you know how to put that perfect ball in, you know, like there's been some claims with Sancho that his final ball is not the best, you know, and Bellingham's just coming through now. So it's just like, who do you put on? Like I would have thought to take, you know, a few different players. I would have still been tempted to take put people like Dele Alli in there because he's had a good recovery in the year. And I still think like at the end of the day, like his problems came about when he lost form under Mourinho. And you know what Mourinho's like? Once you actually fell out of favour with him, he actually keeps on ruining your career. He keeps on putting you down. He puts you in the reserve team. He don't want to know you and all them things. And it messed up Dele Alli. And I think at the end, like the season that he's had now, like the recovery that he's had, has been really good, and he's got that experience as well. I would have took Dele Alli.
Yeah. Okay. So Mason Mount, Chelsea, young guy, part of the Champions League winning side.
Yeah.
Young
Hella
though, man.
creative, man. Hella creative, brilliant guy, man.
Yeah. I'm feeling like, okay, Declan Rice. Declan Rice is also a young guy, 22, West Ham. Jordan Henderson's the older guy, and he's the older guy. So you can imagine that's the experience you need. Then you got Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund, played really well this year. And I always feel like if an English player goes to Germany or somewhere, they always seem to get the fast tracked in it into like the England team. Like, oh, they made it out of England, so they must be good.
You know what it is, nah. I'd actually argue that. Like, I'd say, like, if you go to certain teams, you know, it's there's sort of teams around the world, like Ajax being one of probably the well-known ones, and where youth players get the chance. Southampton in our country was another one, you know, and Crewe historically was one of them, Crewe Alexandra, where like they knew they had really good youth infrastructures. And Dortmund's one of them teams that go, if you're good enough, then you're old enough. Leipzig's another one. You know, Leipzig, they all right, they're doing it in a bit more of a, we'll spend big money to get the best young talent and that, but it's the same sort of principle. They go, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah. Well, he's done a great job in Germany this year. So yeah, just call up. And then Calvin Phillips, I still think we're like, but when I read them, I'm like, and I'm not saying they couldn't do a job.
He's a solid player, man. He's a solid player, man.
Like I said, I'm not saying they couldn't do a job, man, but I feel like you said, Dele Alli or somebody who's a little bit older, who's a bit more
spark. Need a bit more spark. We used to have like someone like Scholes who could literally turn on the ball and just that one pass straight off, putting you through on goal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if these guys have got that incisive thing. Yeah, they're good with the ball. It's great to be able to run and dribble, and it's exciting to watch. But you want that dead balls, not even dead ball specialist, that guy who literally pivots on the spot, looks up with a half an instinct, and then pings that ball over in between two defenders, and you're running through on goal. We used to always have a Scholes or a Lampard or a Beckham, and I'm not sure that these guys at the moment are starters. Declan Rice would probably be one of the guys who would have been able to do that. Who is like that because he sits back a little bit more, but he sprays them balls forward and that, and he's got quite an intelligent brain and that. But I think he'll start as well. To be honest, I think he'll actually start games.
Yeah, probably. I would have put Lingard as well. I think he was the one who I'm thinking he might come back in for.
Yeah, he had a good resurgence, didn't he? He had a good resurgence.
Lingard. I think they should probably bring him in. You know, he's played well the last few games of the season. He's probably the one guy I would say, bring him in, sack it. Okay, then we've got the forwards. Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't know if I said that right. Calvert-Lewin. Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Foden, Jordan Sancho, and Bukayo Saka. Now, Harry Kane, although I hate him, he's a great player and deserves to be in the England squad. And I guess he's the captain as well. So there's not much to say about him. Then he can get goals. Marcus Rashford, did he have a good season this season?
Didn't I? He had a good season, but he was just a bit wasteful in front of goal. Like, I think people thought he was going to be this like deadly finisher and everything like that, and it's more his all-round game that's to be praised now, rather than his finishing. And Greenwood became the focal point for United, I think, more so than Rashford. But he's good at playing that sort of is it number 9, where he's sort of like he's putting stuff together like an Henry, I guess, where you can sort of come in off the channel and then come inside and or set things up. He's got a good pass on him and quite a lot of creativity, man.
Yeah, I like him as a football player. I really like him. I think he's really got it, man. Raheem Sterling, he had an on-off season, man. I think he's also in there on merit because he missed a lot, man. I know people are like Manchester City. They're like,
no. The thing is, City are actually considering selling him. And I just thought, are you kidding? Like, do you not remember the way he started the season? And he went off. Say again.
Yeah, carry on.
He went off the boil a bit. He went off the boil a little bit, but like, with Raheem Sterling, like he's going to come back strong. Like, to me, I don't think he lost that much. I just think City dipped at the same sort of time as Sterling dipped, and then look at their mad end to the season. I think they could have put the kids on and still won. It was about the way they were feeling, that motivation, and that man they were going to win the league regardless. And I think like the strength of their squad came through, because if you remember in the middle of the season, it was all like Gundogan. It was like steering all the headlines. He was killing it. And,
that's true.
And then next thing you know, like he's back on the bench and everything. And then it's all about Fernandinho and like De Bruyne and this guy at the back, man. This what's his name? Ruben Diaz. This guy's a sensation, man. Like nothing goes past him. And then Stones came back like a madman, and you just I don't know what happened, man.
That's crazy.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but anyway, it comes from the winning champions for the Premier League. So yeah, good call. Calvert-Lewin.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, yeah, he's been like consistent last couple of seasons, man. Like he's what people envisaged Andy Carroll would be. That big target man. Like when Liverpool paid £5 million for Carroll, there was still questions because he had one good season. Calvert-Lewin's showing that he's really good, man. He's a talent, man, and
he's finished.
He'll be finishing up with because obviously Vardy's getting older now, and I think he'll be finishing with top of the pile with Kane season on season. I think he'll be Kane and then Calvert-Lewin.
Actually, you know what? Vardy's not in the team this year, is he? Which is strange, because I think he still can get a goal, man. He can get a goal for you. He can.
I don't know. I need to just do a bit more homework, because Vardy should definitely have been in the team. I think Vardy had a good season again to finish right up there again.
Well, the next man,
unless he's injured,
could be the next man. Though he's been a phenomenon as well this year. Phil Foden. Excuse my pronunciation of stuff, man.
Sorry, you've been in Germany too long, bro. This guy, dude. I don't know if you've actually really focused in and watched what this guy is. The future of England, like obviously Grealish has been around now, like he's more just coming into the England side more, but he's a bit older. Foden and Mason Mount, I think, and Saka actually too. I guess Bukayo Saka. These guys are the future of England, like for 100%. Like anyone I'm getting excited about, it's these three, but particular Foden. You know, a lot of people, including Pep himself, will say like he's the best young player he's ever seen. Like this is the guy who's worked with so many of the greats, you know what I mean? Seeing Messi coming through with at Barcelona, and obviously all these things. He was at Bayern, when there's great academy players coming through, and he's just, if you watch him when England won the under-20s championship or whatever it was, he was the standout player. He was the standout player. Nobody can get anywhere near him. His first touch, his passing, everything. He's a sensation, man. I'm so upset that he came through the Man City system when I'm a Man U fan, because there's not any sort of imaginable circumstance where this guy could even go to two other teams, go to Barcelona, Real Madrid, and I want to come back to England. He still wouldn't come to United.
Yeah, is he a Manchester City fan then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he is, because I think he said I think in his family there's a couple of Manchester City people and a couple of Man U people.
Yeah, grew up in Stockton,
yeah, probably. Yeah. But this guy is he's something else.
So one to watch.
Probably best player in the squad.
Okay, and you got Jack Grealish, epic player. He's going to probably leave Aston Villa this year. Actually, Arsenal are interested. I doubt it though. Manchester City, I think, have got him apparently. What I'm hearing, but
he's not staying this year. He's going to go. I think what he is though, I think he's proved his bit to Villa. He's become. I think at the time where he wanted to go, what they did is slap the captain's armband on him, or they'd already done it the year before, and he felt that pressure. And when you get that contract that really reflects your talent for that size of club, where you become probably the highest earning player at Villa, that was probably enough for him. But again, his bid for trophies now is going to be a bit. You can't do that at Villa, even though Villa had an amazing season. I just think now is his time to go, and for Villa to get good replacements in.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Villa in a way, man, because they always have good players, but the team results never reflect the team they have, or at least the individuals. And then their good players always leave. You can go way back to Dwight York and people like this. It's sad.
The thing is, like, them players were going to title-winning squads. A lot of Villa's players were going to title-winning squads. From your Bosnians to your Dwight Yorks and stuff like that. I think last year they had this year they've had a really good season. I think they punched above their weight this season. I think a good mid-table finish, perfect.
Yeah, man.
And then as well.
Yeah, then you got Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho, he's big man
from Borussia Dortmund. Excellent player. Scored a bag of goals. Did really well in Germany.
I think he's going to be a Man U player this year.
You think? Actually, yeah, 80 million, man. 80 million.
Yeah, I think he'll be a Man U player this year. I think so.
See, man. Wasn't he already in England though?
He played for City, didn't he?
No, then there you go.
He played, yeah.
Hope he's got no allegiance there. And then my favorite player, of course, who I think is underrated. And I can't believe people are like, saying that they should have put Lingard in over him. I was like, are you crazy? Bukayo Saka. Believe me, I watched this guy play all season. This geezer is amazing. He's amazing. He can shoot, he can defend, he can play on the left, he can play in the center, he can play up front, he can play anywhere across the front. He's a proper talent, man.
He's rapid. He's good, man. He's a talent, man. He's one of them players that remind me, like, do you remember Juninho? But he's not as obviously Juninho was just an attacking player. He couldn't defend, save his life. But I just mean that, that tricky player that you don't quite know how to defend, and you probably can't. Grealish brings out loads of people to like foul him and stuff like that. But Saka's just one of them players. If you lose sight of him for a minute, he's just going to let the ball go. Like, he's got a really good like passing range on him, or he's just going to take off and just take on the team and score, or he's just going to turn up at the last minute in a place you don't expect him and just score again. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's got the lot, man. I've been really impressed with him this year. And he came out of nowhere for me. Like, I started watching him halfway through the season. I was like, who's this guy?
Just me is a proper good man. He's proper good. So that's the England team going through to play, barring Arnold. Obviously, I don't know who to replace him with at the moment. We'll find out though. We'll nobody that's starting the tournament. All right. So, what do you think our odds are winning, man? Okay, I can tell you we're second favourites. At the moment.
Do you know the thing is with England? It's never about the squad. I've seen a few squads from England that I thought, like, yeah, man, this squad could potentially win any. We just seem to always have, I don't know what kind of mentality it is where, if we're up against it in tournaments, we don't have the resolve that a lot of other countries have to come back and do something. And we do up until the point. It's like we get into a position where we go, look, we're in the semi-final. That's a good thing for England. And then we just down tools. Like, I just don't know when that mentality is going to change. And I don't know if it's within a set group of players or if it's something that we're doing on the pitch and it's just circumstance. But me personally, I don't think we're going to win. I think it'll be a France or a Belgium or you just your usual suspects, Germany or whatever. I just don't think it's going to be. I just don't think it's going to be England. I just don't think it's going to be. What do you reckon? I think France, man. I'd give France the nod.
I was going to say, I would say France too. And I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so this is a table of our group. So first game against Croatia. Win, lose or draw?
Draw.
Yeah, I think Croatia might be a bit too, because remember they were finalists last time, and I feel like Croatia's got such a strong team. They're always, I think Arsene Wenger said it. If Croatia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro all would have stayed together, they would have a team like Brazil. They would be unstoppable because they've got such great.
That was really, really strong, weren't it? These block countries were really strong back in the day. I think with Croatia, what it is. I think for some reason, and I've always thought this, no matter how they were placed, because they weren't Germany or Italy or whatever, people just kind of, they're minnows because their league isn't very good. But then you looked at the players in the squads and you're thinking, like, some of these guys were like ridiculous. And even like today in the current squad, like your Modric's and people like this, you've got a lot of talent. A lot of people rate Croatia for the talent, and they perform well on the biggest stages in the biggest teams. There's a lot of good players in Croatia. Is Rakitic playing? Is that Croatia? Is he Rakitic?
Is he
Croatian?
Yeah.
Like these kind of players, like we're talking like really good ballers, man.
And I think most of the team play in Europe anyway, the strongest leagues. But I think half the team plays in Barcelona, the other half playing Real Madrid.
And there's some good ones in Germany as well. So but I think they're not to be underestimated. In fact, looking at that group, I'm not sure on the Czech players these days. And obviously Czech players have got a lot of history of going all around Europe as well, playing for decent clubs. But I'll be honest, I think I'm worried about playing Scotland. Since I've seen that Scotland were in the group with us, I didn't like it.
What? Scotland,
dude? Dude, I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. Because look at the games where we play Scotland, historically, and it'd be like 2-1 or 2-0 or 1-0 or whatever, And Scotland always gave it a good go. But we always knew ultimately we just had a bit much for a minute. But Scotland's they're, them teams who don't have really good depth in the squad, but they've got players that can really hurt you on the pitch. Scotland have got those sort of players like John McGinn, and some of the especially I would say definitely McGinn, but they've got players that can hurt you throughout that squad. And I think overall as a group probably not that strong with a couple of injuries, but I think they could be the team that sort of defends and plays a little bit and then just cashes us with one of those sort of counter attacks and then just defends for their life. And someone to smash and grab win against us, I'm worried about them. For some reason I haven't liked the fact that we've got Scotland since the start, and my prediction is for some reason that we'll actually lose that match.
You think we'll lose? So we're going to draw against Croatia.
I haven't been that particularly strong about this group since I saw it. I thought a lot of people go, we can get out of this, dude. We've had tougher, but I don't like this group, man.
It's complacency more than anything, I would say. Because I think we'll beat Scotland. I'm thinking right about a draw with Croatia and Czech Republic. I think we'll beat them in 2. So I'm guessing I don't think we'll lose a game in that group. So I'm guessing 7 points, 2 wins and a draw. What do you think about Czech Republic? Do you think is that the only game we'll win?
Yeah, okay. I think we'll beat them. I reckon we'll have a nice convincing win against Czech Republic, but I don't know if that comes in order. I think we'll draw against Croatia, and I think we'll lose against Scotland. I think if we beat Scotland, obviously that just changes that outcome of everything, and that becomes, quite an easily winnable or a group that we can get through. But I just didn't like the look of this group when I saw it. I'm going to be honest, bro. I didn't like it. Okay. I think that England have a tendency to start slow sometimes in tournaments, and look at our attitude towards minnows. England might look at Scotland and go and have that same sort of attitude, historically we beat Scotland, and they might start dreaming of when Gascoigne scored that beautiful goal and then had the water sprayed in his mouth or whatever it was.
I think that's what it's going to be.
In Euro 96, I still remember that. I was at your house. I was actually at your house. So that could actually happen potentially again, and we're laughing, man. It's man, great results and that, but if any of them teams just snatch a goal and then defend for our lives, we only have to look at what happened when we played Iceland and we got sent home.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? If you look at Iceland's squad, bro, there was nothing in that squad that should have hurt us. They got a few good players, Sigurdsson and all these, you know what I mean? But the players that were causing us troubles and that, we're talking about players who were then playing for teams in the championship or playing in 2nd division in Belgium or 3rd division in France or whatever, against players on 100 grand a week, and they sent us home convincingly as well.
Crazy. Okay, so we'll get off the England topic for a second. We're going to go through the groups, and then we're also going to pick a team that we think could be our second team, because obviously England's our first team by default. Actually, not so much my first team anymore, because I'm now aligned to 2 countries. Well, 3 countries.
I've got a Romanian dog. If Romania in the tournament, man, it's got to be Romania. I don't know if they're in.
Your dog must have been angry today then because they lost.
Oh no, she's not talking to me. She's on the bed.
Okay. Group A: Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, Wales. Slight affinity to Wales. What do you think?
Definitely affinity to Wales. Want them to do well. I think Italy will go through comfortably. I think Turkey. Do you know what? It's Wales. Wales are one of them teams again. It's like Scotland, isn't it? Where the first team could actually do really well. I think they'll have a good tournament in terms of performances, but will they pick up points? It's the same with a lot of the smaller countries. It always seems to be the same thing. If you watch a World Cup or the Euros, man, you get some really heartwarming performances, but ultimately they lose. Switzerland have got a history of doing all right in tournaments.
A good team, man.
They've got a decent team, and people forget about some of their players that they've got, man. Look, they have got some really good players, man.
You know what? I could be very close to picking Italy as my second team. I actually feel like they're going to be a finalist. They've played 8 games and haven't lost in over 8 games. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy form at the moment going into the tournament, and you know, Italians are notorious, man. They don't mess around. That's a tournament team, so you know they're going to do well. So I think that's going to be one of my finalists. I think. Who else going to get the group? I think Switzerland will have too much for the other two, so I'm going to say Italy and Switzerland at the group. Do you agree?
For me personally, I think Switzerland will take the second spot.
Yeah.
I think for some reason I don't know with Turkey. I think Turkey's always had really good players, man, but they're sometimes ish, man. They don't always turn up to the tournament. I think Wales would be happy to be there, and you know, I think Wales maybe. I think Wales for 3rd place, Turkey 4th place.
Yeah. Does the best 3rd place team go through actually? So
I think
top
so.
4, top 4 groups. I
think so. Yeah.
Okay, Group B. Belgium, world ranking #1 team. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Belgium.
And probably Belgium are great, man. They've got the players, haven't they? Your De Bruyne's, you got your Courtois in goals. You got a lot of good players running through that team, man. Your Hazard and all these kind of players. You is Witsel Belgique as well, Alex Witsel. I think these kind of people, like, it's a lot of good players. A lot of good players in the Belgium squad, man.
Who do you fancy? I'm looking at Russia. I don't know why, but I just feel like Denmark and Finland. Finland might. I don't know, man. Nah, I can't. I'm gonna say Belgium and Russia are gonna go through.
I think it's comfortable. Belgium, Russia. I think Denmark got some good players, play at big clubs, but historically, again, from when I've watched Denmark, they don't really put youth in tournaments very often, and that they tend to just go with the older players,
old guys.
Yeah, I think that's why they come undone in tournaments. They think that the people who played 10 years ago in the Euros, because they've got the experience, we need to stay with the experience rather than use popping. Yeah. So I think that group, you switch, you put. I think Russia will take second. I'm not really bothered about 3rd or 4th in that group, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Okay, so Russia. Okay, Group C. Okay, Netherlands, Austria, North Macedonia, and Ukraine. You know, you can't really look past the oranges in it, man. The orange team, you feel like they would be, are they even that strong at the moment? I think they're having a season, they're having a period in there. They're coming back, but they're not quite there yet. And I think Austria are quite strong.
Yeah, Austria could drag out a few 1-0s out of that group and get through. Ukraine again have some really good players, but do you know that group is like the group of people who never performed. Macedonia,
it's one of them ones.
I don't know about North Macedonia. I don't know what's going on here, because the last thing I knew it was the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. So I don't know if they've split off again. I don't know if there's been some beef or whatever, and South Macedonia are going to turn up as well. I don't know. Or maybe they've just gone into like North, East, South, and West. Imagine that, man. You got 4 teams in the Euros. Northeast Macedonia, like round the corner from Frank's house in Macedonia. You know, like just.
Who do you represent if you're born in Macedonia? Who do you represent?
I guess it depends if you're from North or South, and even then the country's former divided from the Yugoslav Republic. So, going back to football, I think Holland, the Netherlands should definitely have a nice, comfortable thing through that. I think Austria could be tricky. I think Ukraine got good players, but never turn up really. I think switch 1 and 2 around. Netherlands, Austria, maybe again 3rd and 4th place could go either way. I'm going to say Ukraine for 3rd, North Macedonia for 4th.
Yeah,
got some good players, Macedonia.
I'm also going to go with the oranges for 1st place and Austria for 2nd, man. The other 2 I don't care. Okay, England we did already, so we'll go to Group E, which is Poland, Slovakia. Spain, man. Spain had that few seasons or about a decade of dominating everything, and now it's like, okay, everyone got kind of old. Can they come back?
They didn't filter through the youth good enough, I don't think. For the talent that they've got, they didn't filter it in time. Like Spain, we're having great breakthrough players coming through in that, man. But for some reason, they stuck with the old guard for way too long, at the point where it wasn't working in matches. You know, they were coming undone in matches and still picking the same squad. So I don't know what was going on there.
You know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Sweden first.
Okay, that's
I'm gonna say Sweden are gonna finish top of that group because I feel like Sweden are always the team that do well in the group and then they tail off towards the end of the tournament.
yeah.
And I also feel like Poland are if they've got Lewandowski playing, he can score goals, man. And Poland are
Got some good creative players. Poland. They've got some good, great creative players. I reckon Spain will top the group. I do think they'll still top it. I think they'll have a good Euros this year. I don't think they'll win.
what about Slovakia though, man? Can we rule them out?
Nah, Slovakia one and tight. They got a couple of good players that I've seen, but they don't seem to have much bite in it. Like I think you turn the taps on against Slovakia, they come undone. Poland are a bit more resistant, I'd say, but Spain for me, I think they'll win. I think Sweden will come second. I think Poland will take third. Slovakia take fourth.
Poland. What do you say? Poland, Spain.
I reckon Spain. I reckon Spain. I reckon Spain will come first. Sweden will come second. Poland will come third. Slovakia fourth.
I'm gonna go Sweden first and Spain second. I just got a feeling that Sweden's gonna pull it off this time. Yeah, Group F, the group of death, man. The group of death. This is a tasty group. It doesn't matter where you look. You know what? First of all, we'll talk about Hungary, or as I would say, Hungary, which is not a country. Hungary used to be they were like the first World Cup winners or something like that. They were like really good back in the day. I think they got like 2 World Cups or something. Not now. They couldn't do too much now. I know they're going to probably finish bottom. But you never know, man. You never know on history.
Yeah, Hungary were good. I think back in the 50s, I think they were good or something. Uruguay were your first winners by the World Cup.
Was it Uruguay?
Yeah, Uruguay in the first one. France, Germany, Hungary, Portugal. I think France are going to have a good tournament. I think they will. I think they'll be
France are qualified.
Yeah, I think off the back of the World Cup, I think France will be feeling good. And like you look for the squad, man. It's hard to find. It's like England, really. Like you look for the squad. There's a lot of talent there, man. They're going to turn up. But I think France's players are more consistent and turning up. Germany have been a bit weird in the last couple of years.
But they're not good. They're not good at the moment. They're a tournament team now.
Yeah, like they're a tournament team, man. But I don't think they've been particularly great, even recently in tournaments, have they? I mean,
no, they went out
all the players are there. It's one of them ones, isn't it? If you look at the team sheet and that, you'd fancy your chances lining up against anyone if you was Germany. But
yeah.
I'm gonna go France, Portugal for this group. Germany,
yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, I think Portugal historically not got the best defense in that, man. But going forward, they're an absolute nuisance, and I still think they've got a lot of depth in the squad. Look at Nuno's team with Wolves and that, man. You see the Portuguese influence, man. They did really well,
and they're still the current holders in it. So. Yeah, man. They've held the title longer than any other team. Actually, no, there was probably a time when the war was happening, when things broke off, and the one team that went last before the war probably held it longer. But they've held it for 5 years now. Yeah, I'm going to say Portugal as well. I feel like Germany's not ready yet. They've got a good team with Gnabry and Sane and players like this, but at the back, man, they're not that strong at the back, man, at the moment. So, yeah, I'm going to say they're third. Portugal second. France first. Okay, and that's the 6th group. So, out of that lot, who are you picking as your second team?
Let's go through them again. Do you know what? Keep going down. Let me have a look for the list again. Let's keep going. I am going to go with Wales.
You're going to go with Wales?
The reason why I'm going to say Wales, yeah, is because if they do turn up and I've seen Wales, when they've struggled to qualify for tournaments, they've always took me on an emotional, roller coaster, man. They're like the ultimate triers, man. And I think if they get a few bits of good luck, if they get through, I think the momentum of the Welsh people and just the adventure of it could carry them forward, man. I think that Wales and Scotland, I wanted to pick another home team, but I think for me, if it's going to happen, I'd like to see Wales come out of that group, because that's a difficult group, and I'd like to see them progress.
I think both your teams are going home, dude, man.
I think there's a good chance. I think France will win the tournament. I think that the finalists will be France, Portugal, or I think it will be France, Italy.
Yeah, I think, well, if that's even possible, they might have to meet earlier.
But I mean, like in tournament favorites, so like yeah, my favorites are probably Germany, Italy, France, or possibly Portugal, I should say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I'm so close to saying Italy because I'm learning Italian at the moment, but I'm gonna go with the Germans because that's where I live. So I may as well support Deutschland on this occasion.
Little my eyes.
We'll have to find out what
Yes,
Andrew wants as his second team later. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, man. I think we've done a comprehensive breakdown of everything. So is there anything else you want
Is
to
there
add?
any player that you're looking forward to seeing outside of the England squad in the tournament? Anyone in particular that you're looking forward to seeing? Maybe anyone Arsenal have been tied with, or anything like? Is there anyone you think if they have a good tournament that maybe it's going to change? Because I think for someone like say Jude Bellingham, I think if he was to have a mad tournament, I think the fact that he's at Dortmund, even though he's on a long contract and everything like that, I think a lot of clubs might be thinking, no, we don't want to miss this kid again. And then Foden ain't going to go nowhere. But I think just in general, I think his profile could go massive. Mason Mount again, like these people who would rise in profiles, Declan Rice. I think Rice has a good tournament. He leaves West Ham this year.
I think
100%.
I'm just old school, man. I think I just want to see Mbappe, man. I want to see him tear it up, man, because Mbappe is such a good player and it's great to watch, exciting. You know, France are very lucky to have this guy. And obviously Gnabry too, man. I like to see him do well. Going from Arsenal to like on his path, obviously to Stuttgart and then Werder Bremen and then Bayern. I think that's probably about. I would like to see some of the like Ceballos, something if he plays for Spain. I don't know if he's in the team. To be fair,
Yeah, for me, some of the people we might not see again as well. You know, like Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, he's getting a lot older now.
Yeah,
he's
this will be his last
he's
tournament.
36 years old or something like that.
Yeah,
You know
I think he'll play to 40,
it's
but
probably going to be his last. Yeah, I think you're probably right, and he probably even play tournaments. But I mean, he could be, the last of seeing the best of them. You know what I mean? Like if someone who's playing at 40, he's probably not going to be the machine he is now. Lewandowski for Poland as well. He's getting on a bit as well now. Some of these players are getting a bit older, and maybe it'd be nice to see some of these older players have a good swan song and just deliver one last time. And like Cavani did for Man U, very much like he's not as old, but like he's 32 or something like that. But
player.
Yeah, when you're seeing these old players now, just we've had a lot of experiences with these players, man. They give us a lot of pleasure over the years, man. So I think it'd be nice to see the older players go out like with a bang and then call time on their careers rather than probably have a bad tournament, get sent home, and then that's the end of them.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to see Belgium play though, because I feel like they've got a very exciting team in it.
Yeah, there's a few exciting teams in there.
Yeah,
I think
Belgium,
there's
France.
a few teams who've gone for youth this year as well, which is going to be nice, man, to see some of the youth players, like the younger players who had good under 21 tournaments. Like it's not just England; a lot of countries have gone for these players and that and give them a chance. And I think that's to be commended, man. I think Southgate's done really well with that as well. Like if you think about anything, he has always, from pretty much when he's took over, give the youth a chance, and I think that's important. Like these players are playing really well in Premier League teams a lot of the time, week in, week out, or playing in the Bundesliga or playing in La Liga or whatever it is, and like you say, he's been over to see Trippier, you know what I mean? He went over himself personally and stuff like that. And you think, yeah, man, like that's commitment, man. We've got 4 right backs, but you're jumping on the plane to go to Spain to go and watch your Sky play, or whether you're just watching videos, I don't know, or whatever it is, but you just invest in that team, man. I think we've got a really good team.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens, dude, man, because you know what we're like, man. We get our hopes up. If we even manage to raise half an expectation, England will be like, just hold my pint. Let me just wreck your dreams. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to enjoy the matches and I'm going to see what happens. And pretty much everyone's going to be my second team, depending on if they're beating England or not.
Yeah, actually, I want one last question, obviously. Who's going to be the surprise team in the tournament? Who do you think could take that title? who might go all the way to semis and that, and you're like, what the hell are they doing in the semis?
I think you kind of I think you kind of alluded to. It's going to be like it was in when Iceland had a good tournament. It'll be a Sweden, or it'll be a Poland, or it'll be somebody like that. It'll be somebody like literally come from left field. Somebody. What always happens is one of your big boys has a really bad tournament.
Yeah.
And then
Holland.
One of these little teams is one that beat them, like your North Macedonia or Poland or something. And then, like Russia again, no, I don't fancy Russia for it this time. It could be like you say, your Denmark or your Sweden or one of them countries, I think. It'll be a Scandinavian country.
Okay. I'm gonna say,
and it'll be through Austria, and it'll be through dragging out these 1-0 results that have been like a set piece or something, and then every man's behind the ball for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
3 matches like that from the top of the group.
I think it'd be one of 3 teams, but it could be Switzerland, it could be Wales if Gareth Bale and Ramsey are on par, or it could be Sweden. I'm thinking one of those teams are gonna show us something. Yeah. All right, yeah, man. Yo, Simon, thanks for joining us. We're going to be back on the 11th, I guess. Actually, we're just doing. Is the 11th the first England game? I guess so. Well, we'll get it anyway. And then we'll be going through it. Maybe we'll do the England game, then we'll do a review of the week's results, etc. Just to see how close we are, to things working out. All right, dude. Have a good night. I'll catch up with you.
You too, love that.
On the rebound, man. And thanks a lot.
No worries, man. Take it easy.
All right. Peace, man. Peace.